Get up and get him. 8. 8. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get him. Get him. 10. 10. Let's go. Get him. Get him. 9. 9. 9. 8. Come on, Khamzat. 8. 8. 8. 7. 7. Get him. Get him. 5. Got it. Yeah. Woo. Nice. 4. 4. All right. All right. That's good training.
Strickland will probably get by Khamzat. He called him a terrorist.
Goes like
I can't wait for Khamzat versus Strickland.
Oh, how good did he look against Fluffy?
Strickland's gonna get taken down, but he's so well versed on getting up in his cardio. That 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, if he keeps getting up, defend the submissions, that's when it gets interesting.
He's so hard to hit. He does so many sneaky things on the feet.
No way Khamzat's gonna stand with him. He's gonna try to take him down.
Khamzat can strike too, though. Did you see the video of Khamzat striking with Khalil?
No way he's
From the
gonna
locker
stand with
room,
him.
here's why he can try to stand with Strickland, because he's not a knockout artist.
Gilbert dropped him.
What win fights?
I'll tell you the fight that I'm really looking forward to. Really looking forward to, because I don't know what's going to happen, is Khamzat versus Strickland. I'm very interested in that fight. Strickland is a fucking nightmare standing up.
For sure.
He's a nightmare.
For sure.
What he did to Fluffy Hernandez, I was like, holy shit, man.
The body shot, the finish. But he made Fluffy fight. You know, he fights at a slower pace. He has his own pace in there, and he kind of forces the other guy to fight. His opponent has to fight this pace with him. I think the best chance is to blitz him, do unorthodox things, because he wants to jab, circle, throw a kick, jab, circle. He keeps a very slow pace. He's not sprinting or trying to blast you out of there. He just
Well, he doesn't get hit much.
chips away, high guard, good shell.
Yeah, very good shell. His defense is extraordinary. He, you know, one of the things he was telling me is like, I spar more than anybody and I get hit less than anybody. And that is true. Like, if you think about how much that guy spars, it's a giant part of his training.
Look at
Yeah, he had a nice knee. He had a nice right hand. Like,
yeah,
he's firing in all cylinders.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, and it's funny because I remember when Sean, when he fought, was it Jack Marsh, and you know, I thought he had some technical difficulties in the way he was throwing his punches. Like it was mechanically a little off. But he's cleaned that up. He's cleaned it up, and he's throwing punches mechanically sound, and he's got some weight behind it. And I think, man, if he shows up, I think he beats Khamzat. But he got to show up, though. He got to show up.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy fight week. Both men are going to be going at each other. The interesting thing is they know each other well. Like he's been in those positional drills with Khamzat where he's been submitted, so he knows the strength of Khamzat. Like either, and then Khamzat kind of knows a little bit about the awkwardness that Sean brings. Also, Sean's a pretty big guy, so that helps too because Khamzat will be
obviously big opportunity against Chimaev coming up here pretty soon. What do you make of that fight? Obviously, styles make fights. It's going to be, I think, a different fight than what we saw against Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis. How do you see that fight unfolding?
Nah, I don't know. I didn't really think too much about it, but I'm happy that Sean Strickland's getting the opportunity. I'm Team USA still, and yeah, I hope he wins. I think he's got a good opportunity. I think he's got good takedown defense. I think he's got good get-ups. I think he's got a real opportunity to win. So best of luck to Sean Strickland, and I hope he wins.
On Strickland, there's going to be some times where Strickland poses some resistance, gets back up a couple of times. Maybe Chimaev gasses out a little bit. This was earlier in Chimaev's career as well. And Strickland gives him some real problems. That teep to the body, frustrating Chimaev. Chimaev swinging, not really landing anything. Now Strickland's starting to stuff some takedowns. So this is going to be one of those fights where instead of us sort of seeing the du Plessis thing and being like, oh my God, he doesn't really have the fundamentals to stuff these takedowns or get back up to his feet against a guy like Chimaev, du Plessis still had those moments late in the fight. He had those moments in round 5. And Strickland does have solid wrestling fundamentals. You always see him in the wrestling outfit. He's always had good grappling in his career. He's taken down guys like Imavov. When people take down Strickland, he gets right back up. Like he does. He gets right back up to his feet. Or they don't take him down in the first place. but he always immediately works to a better position, and he has that ability in him, so it'll be interesting to see. This would be an amazing win for Chimaev if he can get it, but if he can't finish Strickland in the first 2 rounds, which I'm going to say maybe he can, I don't know if this is the same 5-rounder as the Duplessis thing. I'm going to think that Strickland might take this one over if we do go past round 2. So this is very compelling. I'm leaning towards...
As fight night gets closer, what looked like a simple clash of styles has turned into one of the toughest fights to predict in recent memory. Experts are split right down the middle. Some say Khamzat Chimaev's raw aggression and suffocating grappling will overwhelm Sean Strickland early and end it quick. Others are convinced Strickland's ice-cold jab, elite distance control, and unbreakable mental toughness will take over as the rounds pile up. Let's break this whole thing down.
And of course, we have a title fight coming up with Chimaev making that first title defense against Sean Strickland in Newark. You've shared the cage with Strickland before. How big of a dog is he in this fight in your eyes? Can he upset the apple cart?
I think he can if it goes to the later rounds and he doesn't get taken down. But again, Chimaev is a bat out of hell. He's a guy that comes aggressively straight away, and Strickland can match that probably, but we'll see. And they've trained together, so this is probably something that happened in the gym that we are not privy to. So yeah, that'll be interesting. But I look forward to watching it and reacting to it on YouTube.
Listening to Joe Rogan break it down makes it crystal clear why this fight is such a nightmare to call. Strickland brings a unique style built on non-stop movement, razor-sharp distance management, and a cardio engine that never quits. He pressures guys at a suffocating pace, and he's even made dangerous fighters like Anthony Hernandez look lost. That lead leg everyone calls a weakness, he turns it into a weapon, lifting it at the perfect moment to stay safe, just like Alex Pereira pointed out.
Understanding of distance, timing, pattern recognition, you're constantly in there, moving around.
Right.
It's like, and then there's also the cardio that comes from sparring.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
Like, because his cardio is almost entirely based on sparring. And, man, that motherfucker doesn't get tired in there.
Right.
And the Fluffy fight was like, I thought Fluffy was going to be a problem. I'm like, Fluffy's really good, man. You think he submitted Adolfo Vieira. He's got all this fucking crazy cardio. He puts a pace on guys. And Strickland made it look like he just did not belong in there.
He's so heavy on that front foot, though. I can't believe guys aren't smashing that calf, man.
I know. Well, he's hard to hit, man. And he also knows how to do that fucking that hacky sack thing where, you know, like you're bending your knee upwards. You know what I mean?
To check it?
Yeah. Well, you don't even check it. You just kind of like relax your leg and lift it up. You know who showed me that is Alex Pereira. He's like, instead of checking it, it was like, if you check it.
And when you add in Dan Hooker's breakdown, this matchup gets even more interesting. A lot of people still see Khamzat as the heavy favorite, but there's a serious case that Strickland's awkward pressure, rock-solid takedown defense, and relentless pace are tailor-made to cause problems. If he can survive the early storm, force scrambles, and start landing that jab and those front kicks, this fight could slowly slip away from what everyone expects and turn into something completely different.
Khamzat. By the way, that Sean Strickland-Khamzat fight, who do you think is going to win that one? Because obviously a lot of people are picking Khamzat. He's just so dominant. But out of all the options, Sean does have great wrestling takedown defense. And also he's got great shots to the body and he's very awkward to fight. Good cardio too.
Yeah, I think, honestly, you know, if you were to ask me before the Fluffy fight,
yeah,
I would have said there's no way. I think Sean's great, but you know, he's just going to be another victim for Khamzat. But after watching him fight Fluffy up close and personal, again, cage side, man, I think Sean could pull this off, man. I'm actually thinking if that Sean Strickland shows up, I think he pulls this off, man. I think he defends a couple shots. He will get taken down, but I think he gets back to his feet. And then if he can get his jab going, his jab and those teep kicks going, because what Sean does well naturally is already a good defense towards a guy like Khamzat. And it's not like he's got to do anything different. Just what he does good naturally is already a good start for beating a guy like Khamzat. So him adding on to that, I think, man, if the guy who fought Fluffy shows up,
Hooker says if Strickland keeps that up, he can make this an absolute nightmare for Chimaev. Using that constant pace and those weird angles to frustrate him, absorbing the early pressure, and flipping every exchange back in his favor. With every clean jab, front kick, and smart defensive move, he slowly chips away at the idea that this is going to be a one-sided beatdown and turns it into a real test of strategy, heart, and endurance from bell to bell.
What was it up close that impressed you the most?
His jab. His jab. You know, when we talk, everybody talks about he's just jabbing, but man, that jab was a thump, man. It looked like Larry Holmes. He was like Larry.
Really?
He looked like the white Larry Holmes with that jab. Like, and I'm telling you, because like most people when they jab, it's just kind of like a flick jab or it's stiff, but it doesn't land. But the way Sean was throwing it, coming from low and high, it was heavy. It had mass behind it. And every time Fluffy blocked it, you saw Fluffy felt it. Even when he was blocking it, he felt that jab, and it really deterred Fluffy from shooting. And I was like, yo, I never knew Sean had a jab like that. I thought it was just a regular jab, but that jab was thumping.
Then you've got Chael Sonnen dropping his usual sharp insight, explaining why this isn't just another fight on the card. Strickland is battle-tested, having stepped in with and beaten top-level competition across the board. Meanwhile, Chimaev brings that wild unpredictability, but he's also had long layoffs that raise real questions about timing, motivation, and consistency. Sonnen highlights the history and the different worlds these two come from, and that layered backstory could easily spill over into the cage, making this clash just as fascinating outside the octagon as it promises to be inside.
Well, I've wanted Sean Strickland to get his chance to reclaim his world championship, and I think that him and Chimaev has a really interesting backstory. They have two vastly different opinions of when they used to train together. Certainly there was a witness. Certainly there was some people that saw this that will eventually come out. I think that that's a lot of fun. So for right now, the matches that are signed, I like Chimaev and Strickland.
Who do you favor?
Well, I think that Strickland can definitely beat him. Strickland's beaten everybody in the world at one point, and then there's always been like these questions around Chimaev. Where's he been? What's with the long delays? You know, that used to be his shtick, is that he'll fight today and then he'll fight you again tomorrow, and he'll fight at this weight class and he'll drop to a different weight class. And now we've seen some breaks in there, and I don't know what's behind those. I don't know if it's injury or lack of motivation or just opportunity, but I think those two getting matched up was.
And one of the things that makes Strickland so dangerous is how little he overthinks, according to his coach Eric Nix. Even against big names, he barely studies tape. Sometimes the first real look he gets at a guy is during weight cut on an iPad, just to get the basics. He absorbs what he needs, trusts his fight IQ, and reacts on pure instinct once the cage door closes. Mentally, both fighters are keeping it cool this week. No big face-off drama, no over-the-top theatrics. They're saving their energy for what actually matters. That focus, paired with Strickland's natural instincts and Chimaev's non-stop pressure, sets up a fight where momentum can flip in a heartbeat. On the title implications, Joe Pyfer gives a clear-eyed take. Some questioned if Strickland deserved the shot, but his activity, his willingness to speak his mind, and his history earned it. Both guys have momentum and legitimacy, but there's also real personal stakes and past friction that add extra heat. No matter who wins, the next fight is probably against Ilia Topuria, so this one could reshape the entire division for a long time. And Israel Adesanya sums it up perfectly in his own way. Chimaev comes out like a bat out of hell, relentless and explosive from the jump. Strickland has the tools to weather that storm, especially if it goes deep and he can stay off the mat. It's a classic clash, raw pace versus discipline and timing, like a high-speed chess match. The big question, according to Izzy, is whether Strickland can stay composed under that early fire and let his game plan unfold. But Colby Covington is straight-up blunt. He thinks Chimaev has a massive edge, sees Strickland as a fighter nearing the end of the road, and expects Khamzat to take him down and control the fight pretty easily from the opening bell. Meanwhile, some analysts point out how Strickland's approach could actually frustrate Chimaev more than people think. Staying composed on the feet, using his cardio and technical game to dictate range without overcommitting. Smart jabs, footwork, and movement can slow things down and make it hell for an aggressive wrestler to set up clean shots or takedowns, turning a supposed mismatch into a 5-round tactical battle. Still, the reality Strickland faces is no joke. Chimaev's wrestling doesn't need perfect timing. He can blast shots from across the cage, bully guys physically, and finish takedowns even when they're initially stuffed. His size, strength, and angle cutting make him one of the hardest grapplers in the game to stop. Strickland has good takedown defense and scrambling ability, but the smart play might be to accept that he'll get taken down at times and focus on making Chimaev pay every time the fight returns to the feet. At the end of the day, this fight is far from the layup many are calling it. It's a fascinating stylistic chess match loaded with questions. How do you see it playing out? Drop your prediction in the comments and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the latest breakdowns. 1.1s fast.